David, in the Moncton Magic and take both games of that weekend series. First time it's happened. And the St. John's Edge, they haven't had a game since. They have been watching film. They have been game planning all week long. They feel ready tonight. I had a chance to talk to their assistant coach, Steve Marcus, who will have the reins tonight as head coach Doug Plum finishes out the remainder of his suspension. But the St. John's Edge would love nothing more than to come in here tonight and spoil this 6-0 streak.
And unless they spent that week getting bashful, Scott, we're going to see one thing from them tonight, and that's running that offense to get the best first three-pointer that they look at. These guys get up threes at an astronomical rate. They only trail the new team in the league, the Sudbury 5 in that department, over 40 a night they get up. And that is, think about that, that's one three-pointer a minute they're launching. That's what their offense is planned, is geared around, and they're going to not change a thing on that tonight.
And not only do they put up a lot, but their percentage of 40.1 threes made per game, second best in the NBL. For the Moncton Magic, we talked about it last night in their game against Cape Breton. They've shown that they can win almost any style of game. What are we in for tonight? We'll find out. But the Moncton Magic are hungry, Dave, to keep the streak going and make it 7 in a row.
And the way they controlled the game last weekend on the Rock was inside the paint. St. John's shot a pretty good percentage, as you talked about, Scott, from beyond the arc. But it was all for naught because the Magic controlled the paint, and that's what they're going to have to do tonight.
We are set. Tipping off is Keith Wright Jr. He went up against Nick Evans, and it's the Magic who control the ball. A great crowd here at the Avenir Center on a Saturday night. They'll remain standing until the Magic hit their first bucket. And here is Billy White looking for his first. The Moncton Magic wearing their third jerseys tonight, the Hub City jerseys. And here's Wright in the middle. Gets the first shot up and in. And the ice is broken, but it's by the St. John's Edge as Keith Wright Jr., 6'8", from Suffolk, Virginia, gets the first bucket. Here is Billy White nursing that left wrist injury that he suffered in practice a few days ago. Jahi Carson with a move inside, and that's what he likes to do. He can fly, but he can also slash, Dave.
He uses that 5'10" frame, he uses the strength, but he also uses that diminutive size to his advantage, squeezing through the smallest of holes and finishing off the paint, off the glass.
And here is Terrell English playing his first ever game against the Moncton Magic in Moncton as that one goes through. They only played one home game here, did the St. John's Edge against the Magic last year. It was the very first game for the Moncton Magic franchise. The St. John's Edge won, but Terrell English didn't play in that game, so the Magic fans getting to see Terrell English for the first time in Moncton as Billy White hits from the outside, kisses that left wrist. Guess it's feeling pretty good.
And last night's player of the game, again, shows his versatility. We talked about it last night, the versatility of the squad. Nick Evans, again, showing the big guy's got some skill. Putting that ball on the floor, 1-2 dribbles, kick to the corner. And you're right, Billy's got that wrist heavily wrapped, but looked good on that release, and it was good.
Want to welcome in all of the fans watching this broadcast live, either on YouTube or through the Moncton Magic site, and certainly all of the fans from coast to coast for the St. John's Edge. I know that anytime I've ever broadcast anything online to do with any team out of Newfoundland, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, cricket, curling, lawn bowling, anytime there's a Newfoundland team involved, Newfoundland fans, Newfoundland and Labrador fans always watch in big numbers. So we want to welcome all of those fans in as Terrell English puts a shot up, and the nice follow there from Wright Jr. as he gets the putback off the English miss.
And he's really the only inside presence, the stereotypical kind of inside presence that the St. John's Edge have. He's done some work early here.
And I'm still trying to get used to these camouflage uniforms that the Moncton Magic are wearing.
They're sharp.
They are sharp indeed. I think we should get the Hub City suit jackets in that camouflage pattern, Dave.
You're not going to see me argue that point. By the way, the next time you do lawn bowling, can you link to that for me? I gotta check that out.
I'll share that link. There's Boucard from the corner. That was no good.
So Guillaume Boucard is one of my favorite players in the NBA. We'll talk about him a lot tonight. Talk about versatility on the Magic end. He is the guy that provides the Billy White type versatility for the Edge. He's tremendous, coming off an All-Canadian first year in the league last year.
So a 2-point lead here early on, 9:25 to go, just underway in this first quarter. McCullough to Billy White. Billy White goes to his right, puts the shot up, follows up, gets his own rebound, kicks it to Evans, outside to Herring. Good ball movement. McCullough wide open. Couldn't get it, though, as he clanked it off the back of the iron. And now here's Des Lee. Lee pushes the pace up the floor. Now he'll put on the brakes and slow it down for the edge. Lee goes in toward the middle, kicks it over there for Maurice Jones Sr. Jones Sr. fakes the shot, and we see that all the time. The offensive player faking the shot and then getting the defender to commit in the air, and then the offensive player kind of steps in and gets the foul.
Yeah, and I think if you could have that back, Jahi Carson would take the second chance, because right now, because early in the season, Maurice Jones Sr. not converting from the field. Converting from the line, though, at his normal rate, but he's been cold from the perimeter to start. You kind of want to make him make a couple, make him prove that he can do it before you start getting up in the air in a shot fake like that.
So a couple from the line for Jones Sr. All kinds of seniors and juniors on this team. I'm going to try and keep them all straight. Here's McCullough. Kicks that ball to Carson. Carson tried to feed it back. Good defense inside as Jones Sr. and Bukar were there to try to impede what Jahi Carson was trying to do.
And Coach Marcus is upset about where that call came from. I don't think you can argue too much with the call itself, but the lead official didn't see the foul, and Brent Stalker, one of our great referees in this league, made the correct call from behind.
Billy White tried to draw some contact, step back, but the shot no good. Here's Jones Sr. wide open, puts the shot up off the side of the iron. Rebounded there by the Magic. Here comes Billy White. He's got McCullough on the right side, but Moncton will just slow it down and set up in the half court. Bukar out on Carson. McCullough now takes it down low. Size mismatch there, and McCullough takes advantage of it. Drives right past Jones Sr. and puts it off glass.
And you love that aggressiveness. Don't get fancy with it. You got a guy 6 or 8 inches shorter than you are. Just pound that ball once, twice, go up hard.
Going to the rack hard there was Wright Jr. Rejected at the rim. Back come the Magic. Billy White takes some contact, takes it in strong, and that is one of the many things that Billy White can do and do very well.
And he's got such good body control. He knows what speed to move at. He knows if he lowers that shoulder, goes too fast. Guillaume Bukar, such a good defender, is going to take the charge.
And talk about a size mismatch there as Nick Evans over top of Jones Sr., but I think they're going to call Evans for the foul.
And that is a tough call on Nick Evans. For one thing, that's what I was thinking too. The players are signaling like it was a pass. I wasn't so sure that Maurice Jones Sr. was even attempting a shot on that. And Nick Evans seemed like I got mostly ball, but Brent Stalker says he got him on the side of the head.
Maurice Jones Sr., 5'7", out of Saginaw, Michigan.
A couple good songs about Saginaw, Michigan.
Can you sing me one at the half?
I am absolutely not going to do that. No.
I said at the half, Dave.
Oh, okay. Well then.
7:42 to go here. 9-8 lead. Good atmosphere. You can feel it in the building, Dave.
Yeah, really good crowd tonight. And they're excited about a 6-0 team, that's for sure.
Here's Evans now battling down low. Outside to Carson. Sees the opening. Jahi puts it up off the back of the rim. And I know that Jahi's got a big contingent of family and friends watching back home in Phoenix, Arizona tonight. We'll get some shout-outs in to that crew later on. Here's Des Lee from outside. And Lee looks right at the Magic bench as he drains the 3-ball.
And that's their first after starting 0 for 3. And he's one of those guys. And another, talk about coming off great seasons. Des Lee had a great first year in St. John's, and they're going the other way for 2 more.
Wide open Bukar to the rack. And the Edge have opened up a 6-point lead here, 14-8 with 6:52 to go. Jahi Carson. Billy White now to Nick Evans. A huge game last night for Evans. 25 points, 11 boards. He was the Magic player of the game. McCullough being guarded there. Jones Sr. right in his hip. Little tap away there. McCullough strings it across to Billy White. White takes it in strong. Gets a little bounce off the rim. Billy White looking very engaged early on, Dave.
And a really good, patient offensive set there from the Magic. They got Wayne in that mismatch again on Jones Sr. Sometimes you just got to be patient, wait for the right cutter to make himself available.
Here's English now driving into the lane hard. He goes up and he'll draw the foul.
And Coach Salerno not happy with his defensive rotations on that one. That was too easy. And Terrell English, you talked about him making his first appearance in Canada. He didn't look like himself on the Rock last weekend. Was missing some wide open jumpers and actually didn't get that many. The Magic did a great job closing out on him with and Wayne McCullough was his check most of the time last weekend. So kudos to Wayne, and he's the guy matched up on him to start the game tonight as well.
Terrell English shooting just below 89% from the free throw line so far this season, and he's 2 for 2 there.
Yeah, he's as automatic as you find from the line with that pure stroke. He missed a shot earlier He's 1 for 2 tonight, and that one was the first shot I saw him miss since he walked in the building through warm-up. I literally did not see him miss one.
We'll get to a couple of roster notes for both of these teams in just a second here. 6:05 to go in the first quarter. 6-point lead for the Edge on the road here against the Magic. Here's McCullough. Kicks it to Billy White. Wide open baseline. Can't get the range. And it's tapped away, and here comes Des Lee. He's got Wright Jr. with him. Des Lee decides to take it along the baseline. Kicks it to the corner. Making a move inside is Cadogan, and Cadogan cuts into the paint and gets the little jump shot to go, and the Edge looking comfortable here early on.
And they're doing a much more effective job of attacking the paint. Moncton's getting some wide open looks, but they're outside the paint. St. John's, surprisingly, doing the better job of getting the easier looks right now.
Doug Herring Jr. gets a good look right there, and he'll put a 3-ball down. Nice look there for Doug Herring Jr. as he hits from downtown.
And he's a guy that's kind of got to get his game going a little bit. I think he's a guy that's going to have to score the ball playing off the ball with Jahi playing the 1. He's got to be a guy that looks to score from that 2 spot. And I think you'll see him take the bull by the horns a little bit more offensively tonight.
So a substitution coming here and a media timeout coming your way as Isaiah Tate was just about to check in, but they do get the call for a media timeout. So Dave, 5:10 to go in the first quarter, and I had a chance to talk to assistant coach Steve Marcus, who was handling the head coaching duties tonight, as I mentioned, with Doug Plum, finishing out the final game of his suspension. But I asked him, I said, what's the key for you guys tonight? And he said, look, he said, last weekend against his Moncton Magic team, he said, defensively I thought we played well. He said, but we weren't really executing anywhere else. And he said, tonight, he said, this is an us game. He said, this is all about us. This is about executing our game plan. He said, we've been watching film for a week. We've been breaking down what the Magic have been doing. And another thing he said, look, not to make an excuse, he said, but the majority of this Moncton Magic squad has been together a long time. They had that trip to China. They had a long training camp. He said, for the most part, we've been together 3 weeks. We're kind of still finding our way. But he really felt tonight that this was a chance for this Edge team to make a statement and to kind of get things turned around early in the season.
And Coach Salerno talked a little bit about that same kind of thing, about not looking so much at what everybody else is doing, but what you do well, and get in the habit of what you do well then throughout the season, then kind of adapt to what other teams are doing to you. And that's kind of what Coach told you. Same thing. They forget, don't worry about what the opposition is. Okay, we lost to them twice. We're going into their building. Worry about what you want to do, how you want to play, how the team you want to make yourself out to be as the season goes along, and try to do that. Take care of that first, what you want to be, and worry about everybody else later. It's the right attitude to take, especially with a team that's been together a shorter amount of time.
And the gentleman on the floor right now for the St. John's Edge, he's got the ball in his hand. It's Satnam Singh. 7'2", Dave, 295 pounds. I shook hands with him earlier, and I wondered if I'd ever see my hand again.
The man is large and sets a very good screen.
He does indeed. Here's Boucard now, trying to get it into Satnam Singh, and it's turned over. Billy White in the open floor, takes it in strong, and thought about the jam, but I think he held up just a little bit, remembering that wrapped left wrist, but it's 2 points nonetheless.
And he was looking to create some contact, too. We said Billy doesn't waste movement. He knows exactly how quick he has to move, and he's always looking for that extra and one, trying to create some contact as well. He thought he did there.
This is Todd Brown Jr., another one of the juniors/seniors on this team. Cadogan got the defender to commit, took a little step back, put on the brakes, and hits the jumper.
And Junior Cadogan, one of the old school Canadians that's been around this league for a long time, and an old pro, and he knows how to get where he wants to get.
Doug Herring Jr., not quite enough on that one. Boucard with the rebound, gets it to Cadogan. Cadogan with some energy, cuts in, tried to get it back to Boucard. Boucard lost the handle. Herring Jr. up quickly to Jahi Carson. He's got Tate with him, but Ja takes it off glass and in. Jahi Carson for a couple, and now back to a 3-point game. 2017, Edge in the lead, 3:45 to go in the quarter.
Did such a good job on that break. Sometimes the key to that break is just attacking that top guy that's back and making him make a decision.
3-on-1 now. Tate bounce pass to White to Herring Jr., and they execute the 3-on-1 to perfection. And as the ball went through the cylinder, Steve Marcus was up calling timeout right away.
Before it was through the cylinder, he was up calling the timeout. Good timeout by him. Quick run by the Magic, and this is the pace. We talked about it last night a little bit. The Magic have been really happy with the shots they've been getting, obviously scoring at a high rate, shooting a high percentage, but the pace of play isn't where they want it, and this is kind of the back and forth that they want to play at. They feel like they got the personnel to do it, and you see how it works, how well it works when they get out in the open floor.
Well, the interesting thing as well, a lot of times you'll see a 3-on-1 like that, and a team will almost have so much time and space that they kind of muff it up. One pass too many, or they bobble it, but a 3-on-1 executed very well. All three players getting a touch before it was put through.
Well, what you saw there, and what I was saying with the previous basket, and they both happened so quick I didn't get the full explanation out, but with the previous hoop, what a smart ball handler will do in that scenario is make that guy make a decision. Sometimes people give up that ball too early or over dribble, and what they both did in that scenario, Jahi the first time, and it was Isaiah Tate and Billy White the second time, attack that guy, make him make a decision. And if he doesn't do anything, the way that Ja did in that first break, he didn't do anything. He just kept backing up, giving ground. You take that layup. If he comes at you, then you get unselfish and you give it up.
And this is a game that, look, all games in the 40-game regular season are important, but this is a game I think that a number of players on the Moncton Magic circled and really wanted to step up and have a big game. Doug Herring Jr. one and Billy White another, and Billy White right now leading all scorers with 8 points.
Yeah, they lost to them in their only meeting last year. Carl English is a big name. He's a guy that was MVP last year. You want to put one on a guy like that in this league. You want to make him pay, and they've got the momentum back here. Denzel grabs the rebound, and here goes Isaiah.
Isaiah up the floor, 3:08 to go. Jahi Carson to Billy White. Billy, a little bounce pass inside to Doug Herring, and Diego Capelin was on defense. And I did check, because when I saw the name, originally I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. When I saw the name spelled Kapelan, my first thing was to pronounce it capelin, which a very popular seafood in Newfoundland is capelin.
Now, so I was hoping you were going to pull out the accent on that one too, but you didn't.
My son, when the capelin are running, he wants to get down to the beach with a bucket. You can scoop them up. I remember doing it when I was a kid. In Portagrave, Newfoundland and Labrador, we had a summer house there. I remember going down to the beach and just scooping up capelin. But it is pronounced, I did actually check with the man himself. Diego said it's Capelin.
And Diego had his hands full with Doug Herring in the post, as do any guards in this league. And again, just the struggles at the line. I love how aggressive Doug's being, because he's got to be a scorer for these guys, especially with Cory Allman still out. But he's just not converting at his normal rate. But you know it's only a matter of time before the lid comes off for Dougie.
Capelin now puts it into the hands of Jared Nickens. Nickens to Cadogan, and Cadogan pushes off, and he's going to get called for the foul there. That was pretty obvious.
Yeah, and that was a call they wanted on the first Carl English hoop earlier. They felt like Carl ordered off on Wayne McCullough in the lane, but they got it the second time around. That's why you see refs pulling the refs over, coaches pulling the refs over and lobbying them, giving them a talk. They hope they get that call the second time around.
And Cadogan's reaction afterwards was kind of fun, as he had a little laugh with Jahi Carson after that. And then Cadogan,
he got him right back.
Yeah, he flips the script and gets it back the other way.
Respect the junior, and he's got a little sly smile on his face popping up. He knows he got Ja right back.
2:39 to go here, and Ja talking to the referee as they walk down the court. 20-19, St. John's Edge leading here on the road. A good first quarter so far for this St. John's Edge team. And checking into the game now, a player recently signed by the St. John's Edge, seeing his first action. It's Chadrick Lufield. One of the other Lufields, Meshach, plays for the Island Storm.
You love commentating the Lufields.
I do. And again, in terms of pronunciation, I did check with the man himself just to be sure, as it is with Meshach, with Chadrick.
We do our due diligence around here, Scott.
It is indeed Lufield. Always good when they hit the shots too, because I can say he's Lufield-ing it.
Yeah, see?
I gave that away.
Yeah. Save it.
Bobble there. Tate gets it up, though. Tate awkwardly kind of scrambling through the paint. I'm not sure if he was trying to drive to the hoop himself or dish it off to Doug Herring. Either way, it goes out of bounds.
And Isaiah had a tough night last night. 2 points. Didn't convert a single shot from the field, which is different for him, given his hot start to the season. He'll look to bounce back tonight.
Here's Tate now from downtown. He's usually good from out there, but the putback helps. And Coach Steve Marcus not happy at all.
Death, taxes, and Denzel Taylor hitting the offensive glass.
So
and you see again, Scott, the use of the left. Not shy about using both hands.
Here's Chadrick stepping back. Smooth-looking jump shot, but just not enough juice on it.
Well, a really good closeout, a really good swipe at the ball there by Billy.
And the crowd giving him a bit of a Bronx cheer. 1:35 to go in the quarter. Billy White with Lufield coming out to challenge. White had the chance, couldn't get the shot. Back the other way, Jones Sr. Here's Maurice now. Takes it down to the left corner. Tate on him. They'll give it off to Lufield. He's got some size. Puts the shot up again. No good, but it's swatted to the outside. From the other side now, the shot put up by Maverick Morgan. No good. Back the other way. Tate sees the opening. The lefty strokes it off the front of the rim. Nice job there by Gentry Thomas to get the rebound. Gentry takes it baseline himself, up and in for the rookie Canadian.
Yeah, and that is sometimes that athleticism of his just kind of takes your breath away a little bit. You don't see the explosiveness coming out of that compact frame but he went up and got that offensive rebound and then just skied over everybody going to the glass.
Here's Lufield's spin move. The big man gets his first bucket as a member of the St. John's Edge.
That was pretty right there. You don't see Billy White get burned on the defensive end like that too often.
Herring, 33 seconds to go. Herring puts a shoulder into the defender. Spin move now, gets it back outside to Billy White. Little shuffle step there by Billy, gets it back to Herring Jr. Doug steps in. Herring Jr. wanted it off glass. Denzel Taylor doing what Denzel does. The minister of defense is the minister of the offensive board right there.
League leader in the NBL in that category last year, and Guillaume Boucard standing here in front of us, throwing his hands up in the air for the edge, going, somebody get that guy.
Shot clock is off, final 5 seconds. Jones Sr. now looks for the last shot, puts it up, and hits it at the buzzer. That is a big one right there. You always want to finish out a quarter in style, and what better way than to hit a triple at the buzzer to tie the game at 25.
And wouldn't you know, coming in struggling, I said earlier, make him hit a couple to prove it. Well, that one looked pure from Maurice Sr.
Well, listen, not only have the Moncton Magic been playing well in terms of wins and losses, perfect so far on the season at 6-0. If you look down the statistics, quarters, there haven't been many quarters that they've either lost or had tied. Last weekend in St. John's, there were only 2 quarters that the Moncton Magic either were tied in or lost in terms of points in a quarter. So that's a pretty big first quarter right there for the St. John's Edge.
Yeah, and it's a good start. And a storyline last night was lack of production from the Magic bench. They put up some good big defensive minutes in the fourth quarter, guys like Gentry Thomas and Denzel Taylor. But as far as offensively, on the offensive end of the floor, they shot a low percentage. They were outscored by the bench of the Highlanders had twice as many points as the bench of the Moncton Magic. So we'll see how that plays out tonight too, as these teams go to their benches here in the second quarter.
Dave, do you ever worry that someone's going to slip the camera operator $5 to put you and I on the Kiss Cam?
I have nightmares about it every night, actually, now that you mention it.
I brought chapstick tonight just in case,
yeah.
And I have $5 less in my wallet, just saying.
Well, Scott, I don't know what to tell you, but
I don't often
you can do worse.
I don't often leave you
can do worse. You can do worse. I'm just saying.
So 25 all. Coach Steve Marcus and the St. John's Edge. It has not exactly been the start to the season that the Edge have wanted. But again, just early stages here of this season. Lots of time for all the teams that might be struggling right now to right the ship and get it turned around. And the old adage is, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I know for the St. John's Edge, as big as it was for Moncton to go over to St. John's and win last week, I think it would be equally as big for the psyche of the Edge to be able to come into the Avenir Center here tonight in Moncton and to get a win to end the streak.
Well, as the number next to the O gets bigger and bigger for the Magic, teams are going to be more and more motivated to give them that crooked line or that straight line on the loss column. So certainly, I mean, motivation every time, but I don't think you need to do much to the Edge to give them. And they make a costly turnover to start the second quarter.
Gentry Thomas went left and then leaned to the right, puts the shot up, and he'll go to the line to shoot a couple.
And the referee is putting on a one-man show, acting out the reason for the foul call there. That's a good explanation. Smooth moves. Look like a Michael Jackson kind of moonwalk there a little bit.
Almost wanted to get him some staging.
Right?
Put a spotlight on him there for a minute.
Yeah.
I could hear the theme for Dance Fever in the back of my mind. Dating myself there. Dance Fever.
I've heard of the show. I'm not capable of pulling out the theme song, and the theme continues at the line. This is becoming a real story for the Magic there this weekend. Kept in the game last night. Kept the Cape Breton Highlanders in the game last night with their exploits from the line, and tonight they've started 0 for 4, and we're talking about good free throw shooters here. Doug Herring, Gentry Thomas.
Terrell English had a bit of a screen there from Wright Jr. took the shot, no good. Doug Herring back the other way, bounces it inside to Nick Evans. Evans backing down Boucard, gets it outside to Herring. Herring, double team there, kicks it over to Tate. Isaiah Tate into 3 defenders. Shot goes underneath the bucket, rebounded there by Boucard, who gets it up to Terrell English. Here is English now. Nifty little dribble between the legs to Boucard, now over on that far side for Jones Sr. English with the ball in his hand, inside, nice little give and go, going to the left hand was Wright Jr. Couldn't get it to drop, and the Magic back the other way. We haven't had points yet in the second quarter. Here's Gentry Thomas, corner 3. Gentry is good.
And Doug Herring knew that was going in before his teammate shot it. He put his finger in the air as soon as he let that pass go, and really nice job by Doug Herring getting in that lane, drawing and kicking.
Here's Des Lee, over now for Wright Jr. Wright Jr. looking for somewhere to go with it. English comes out to try and give him some help. Now they'll put it into the hands of Jones Sr. Here's Maurice Jones Sr. cutting to his right, swings it inside. Another little give and go is cutting inside. Was Wright Jr., but I think they're out of time, Dave.
And I love what the Magic are doing here on the screen and roll action up top. They're sending a couple of guys to Maurice Jones Sr. They're not so worried about the roll man because they know they don't have the edge. A lot of effective big guys that can finish against the size of the Magic down low. They're going to sort of take that instead of a barrage of threes from the perimeter.
Gentry Thomas with some nifty little moves, although he has his pocket picked there by Jones Sr. Here comes Maurice Jones Sr. Half Euro step there, gives it to Boucard, who goes baseline right into the bigger man, Nick Evans, but Boucard gets the bucket.
And Maurice Jones Sr. might be struggling with his shot. He's not going to let that affect how effective he is at the defensive end and distributing the ball. He's an all-NBLC level defender, and he proved it there, stripping Gentry.
McCullough outside wide open is Gentry. No good there. Getting the rebound was Wright Jr., and the whistle blows, and now he got a little bit of a tangle up as Denzel Taylor kind of got into the chest there of Terrell English for a moment.
And they're giving the hold on Denzel Taylor, which is tough for me to believe given how that play unfolded. I think it's usually Denzel Taylor on the receiving end of the bear hugs when he's carving out space under the hoop, but saw it going the other way.
And some of the Moncton Magic faithful here at the Avenir Center letting their feelings be known to the referee. And away from the play, Nick Evans, Terrell English come together. English ends up on his back on the floor, and Evans is going to take the foul, and now English comes over to have a little chat with Nick. And funny thing is, during warm-ups and shoot-around, it was actually Nick Evans came over and had a nice little chat with Terrell English. They hugged it out, and, a couple of familiar foes said hello to one another, but it's just not so pleasant there.
Getting reacquainted. He hadn't, that warm-up was an hour ago. He hasn't seen him in a while. I wanted to say hi again. But that's kind of a foul they'll take. I mean, he definitely gave him a shot. It wasn't anything elbow or anything dirty that's going to injure Carl, but you don't mind giving a shot like that. Make him think about it. He's a great shooter. You want to make him think about, put as much in his head as you can at him coming off that screen.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Make that 9 seconds as Doug Herring Jr.
I'd like to see a replay of that one.
So I think they're calling the foul. I'm not sure who they called
it
on.
Denzel Taylor again. He's going to have to come out.
So now they're saying delay a game on Doug Herring Jr., and the referee came over and emphatically said to the timekeeping table, if it happens again, it's a technical. Yeah. So all kinds of things going on here with 9:03 to go in this second quarter. And now we've got a foul call on McCullough, and McCullough just walks over the end line, and Coach Joe Salerno.
It's kind of a hey, refs, we didn't come to watch you situation here tonight. And there's another one, and there's the makeup. Has happened so often, and Coach Marcus, he sees it coming, and I think so often you see it. Call goes one way, debate, immediately the call goes the next way.
Well, this has been, I know we've only played a few minutes, but we've had 5 points scored total in this second quarter, Dave. 3 for the Moncton Magic, 2 for the St. John's Edge. We've played
lots of physical
quite
play.
A couple of minutes here.
Lots of physical play. Teams are having a tough time getting loose for a good open shot.
Here's English now driving to the bucket, just calmly lays it off the glass and in. That's a nice move there from the veteran English.
Too easy. You got to make him. Carl's looked like he's lost a little bit of explosiveness, at least to start the season. Maybe hasn't gotten his legs underneath him. That's kind of unforgivable, that straight line drive that way.
And that ball into the hands of the Edge again as they look to increase this 1-point lead. Lee from the corner, and they're going to say he steps out of bounds. Unforced turnover right there as Des Lee was wide open, Dave.
And a bad luck there. And give credit to Terrell English there. He hustled up the floor, making himself shot available. And that really opened up Des Lee in the corner because Maurice Jones-Drew Sr. did a really nice job looking away the defender, who obviously is going to lean towards Terrell English in that situation, left Des Lee wide open. A little bad luck. His heels were on the sideline.
8:13 left in the half. It's a 1-point lead for the St. John's Edge, 29-28. Working with the ball now is Billy White down low. That is his office. Tried to throw it back outside to Herring Jr., but it's picked off by the Edge. Terrell English in the corner, and challenging him is Doug Herring. And Doug Herring closed the distance quickly on Terrell English. I think Carl thought initially he was going to be wide open, and all of a sudden he had Doug Herring Jr. right in his face.
And they're having a little laugh here. Carl feels it was a pretty clear foul, but he's going to laugh it off and get back and play D.
29-28, still your score. As offense at a premium here in this second quarter. Billy White moves that ball to Gentre Thomas, back to Billy White. Nick Evans, top of the key, goes into Bukar, rolls around, couldn't get the bucket, but a good physical move in low by big Nick Evans.
Yeah, that was better ball movement. The ball's been really stagnant on both ends of the floor. A lot of physical play, not a lot of good open looks, and Nick Evans did a great job. He's got a feel for how to play with these guys on this team, and he just looks so comfortable, does Nick. And again, another foul shot goes begging for the Magic, and they're 0 from the line so far. Leaving shots.
Sometimes you get a feel for a game, and the way this one has gone through a quarter and a few minutes, you get the feeling that one of these two teams could really rue some of the misses from the free throw line later on in this game.
Well, we thought the same thing last night. We felt that somebody was going to get hot at some point, put some distance between the other team, them themselves, and a great hands there by Gentre. And a turnover.
Carson tried to lead Gentre, I think, with that pass, and it was just a little bit behind a streaking Gentre Thomas, so they couldn't connect there, and the ball turned over. So again, Dave, scoring not exactly at a breakneck pace here.
Lots of turnovers, lots of missed shots.
29-29, 7:18 to go in the second quarter. Glad to have you on this broadcast wherever you're tuned in. And there are some points. Those belong to Maurice Jones Sr., who hits the triple.
And if the lid's coming off the bucket for him, it's going to make things an awful lot easier for this Edge offense.
Here's Billy White now wide open. Too strong. Rebounded there as Wright Jr. grabbed it and puts it into the hands of Jones Sr. Jones Sr. kicks it over there to Nickens. Nickens gets it back to Wright Jr. Wright Jr. strong move up over top of Nick Evans. And a bucket for Keith Wright Jr.
I said it in the first quarter, the Edge are the team doing a better job of making their way into the paint in the two-point area, which is not where they're used to living, at least so far this season, and doing a great job getting shots that, much more makeable shots than the Magic are getting.
Evans swings that ball over to Jahi Carson. Carson, wild-looking shot off the glass. And here comes Bukar now as the Edge look to extend this lead. It's now at 5. Jones Sr. off the side of the rim, but this is the largest lead for either side. 5 points the advantage, 34-29. Edge in the lead with 6:07 to go in the half. Jahi Carson now calmly dribbling, kicks it over there to McCullough. McCullough uses Evans as a screen, goes right into Bukar. McCullough still has it, spinning through a crowd, off glass and in. And the young gentleman from Texas with the nice move there.
Kind of another broken, kind of stagnant-looking offensive possession, but a nice little piece of individual brilliance there from Wayne McCullough. So athletic, so long.
And we mentioned a couple of roster updates for these teams. We referenced the big addition for the St. John's Edge with Chadrick Lewfield. On the Moncton Magic side of things, a player that's in their lineup but not available yet, Chad Posthumus, the big man from out west in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We weren't sure about Billy White and Cory Allman. They were both game time decisions. It was going to depend on what happened during warm-ups. We've seen Billy White in the game. He's been pretty effective to this point. We have yet to see Cory Allman, and I haven't looked down to see, well, he is dressed on the bench, but whether or not we see Cory, another story.
No, I'd be surprised to see him out there tonight. I mean, look, the team's winning games without him. No sense risking, a re-injury this earlier in the year with the team at 6-0. I think if it was, if there was a sense of urgency at all about these games, if they had lost a couple, or, if there was any reason to doubt, then maybe you try to get him some minutes. But with the team where they are, with a nice round number there in the loss column still, I think you take advantage of that and you give as much rest as you can handle.
So getting ready to come out of this timeout, 34-31, St. John's Edge leading on the road. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley with you on a Saturday night from the Avenir Center in beautiful Moncton, New Brunswick, the hub city. And while I have a sec, Dave, I know that with the storm the other day, there was a huge power outage situation in Memramcook, New Brunswick. A big relay station got taken out. It affected power in New Brunswick, in Nova Scotia. I know PEI had major issues with the storm as well. I'm staying at the Days Inn and Suites on Mountain Road in Moncton. It's the official hotel of the Magic. And when I pulled into the hotel last night, there had to be upwards of 30 to 40 power trucks. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of the great staff that have been working so hard to get the power back on. Those power crews, they deserve a lot of credit. So wanted to give those guys a shout out.
Well said.
5:38 to go. Cadogan steps back now, directing traffic. Junior Cadogan dishes off there to Nickens. Had the open look, couldn't get the shot to drop, and it's rebounded by Gentray Thomas. And here comes Herring Jr. Doug Herring Jr. over to Billy White. Taking a look left, taking a look right, comes over on this near side to Doug Herring. Now we see Herring directing traffic. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Herring, nice little pass down to the baseline for Billy White. That's his office. Billy again makes the move, couldn't get the shot to go, and down to the floor goes White and Cadogan.
And look, the Edge on this end of the floor are playing tremendously well on the defensive end and really not giving the Magic much of a look at all. They're trying to get the one-on-one matchups they like. The Magic they're containing the ball handlers. They're doing a good job playing Billy White one-on-one in the post with Guillaume Boucard, not having to send a double team. So just a really yeoman's work tonight so far by the defense. They force the Magic into a tough three, and it pops out again.
So Gentray Thomas misses that one. And a little note in terms of jersey numbering, Gentray has been wearing 0 all season long. Maybe in the Hub City uniforms he's number 2, but he's wearing 2 tonight. Typically wears 0, but he's got the 2 going tonight, does Gentray. Here's McCullough now, wearing his familiar 22. Gives it off to number 2, Gentray Thomas floats to the lane, right-hander, couldn't get it to go. That would have been pretty, but it doesn't fall for him. Des Lee back the other way, Nickens in the corner. Goes over top of the cylinder, and it's rebounded by Billy White, who gets it ahead to Doug Herring Jr. Herring steps into one, rattles it around, Nickens gets the tap, Gentray Thomas grabs the rebound, gets it back to Herring. Fresh shot clock now for the Magic. Here's McCullough. Scoops it underneath the Billy White, leads in with the left hand. That is Billy White doing Billy White things, Dave.
And he just did a great job carving out the spot and making himself available. And Wayne McCullough fed it to exactly the right spot where he needed.
And Cadogan with some nifty handles there. Gets it to Newfield, and Newfield feels good as he puts that one off the backboard and in.
Yeah, I don't think I expected such versatility from Newfield to be able to step out the way he does and create his own shot, but he's done it a couple times already. Looking really good here for his new team.
Evans tried to create a little bit of a pick and a screen for Gentray Thomas, and Thomas' circus shot won't fall. He can't believe it. Back the other way comes Newfield.
Now Gentray's slow to come back.
Nickens, corner on the other side, and Nickens is good for 3. He hit that one from Buckins, Dave.
He did, and I think Coach Salerno's a little upset with kind of the movement here of the players, and Gentray Thomas upset he didn't get a foul call. And really, I mean, you can be upset, but walking back on defense and giving up an open 3 isn't the right reaction to feeling like you got shortchanged by the refs.
Well, that's a really good point, because that's a couple of circus-type shots that he's missed in the last couple of possessions where he's had the opportunity. And you're right, he was clearly upset with himself. I don't know if upset's the right word, but disappointed, whatever the case may be. But he certainly was not hustling to get back, and that will definitely catch the eye of Coach Joe Salerno when he calls time.
That's going to stand out on film. And when we talked to Gentray yesterday before his before his we talked to him. He used the pregame interview yesterday before the matchup, and we asked him a little bit because when Coach talks about him, he says when Gentry gets it, and look, he's already a pretty solid player, contender for Rookie of the Year this year. I mean, look, he's in the running for all kinds of awards. This guy's going to be a really solid player in this league. I asked him directly, what does Coach mean when he says when you get it? He says, I'm a rookie, I make mistakes. And that you can chalk it up to a rookie making a mistake. And I'll be surprised if he's not subbed out here. This whistle, and look who it is. Look who's taking his place.
Well, the DC three-point specialist, Cory Allman, hasn't seen action in quite some time. Coming in, he's been working hard, Dave. He's been rehabbing. I talked to him last night. He said, I don't want to come back. He said, I want to be back. He said, but I don't want to come back unless I'm 100. Well, whether he's 100 or not, he's on the floor now, and there is a man who can electrify this Moncton Magic crowd. The fans love him, and he is good when he is out there. And it's good to see the Magic with their emotional leader back on the floor in Cory Allman.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see more of there as well. Move the ball and have Doug Herring be the decision maker a little bit, especially with Jahi Carson stepping out before. And it looked like Jahi had re-injured something maybe from last night. So we'll wonder, will we see Jahi again tonight? In the meantime, let's make Doug Herring the distributor, the initiator of the offense, and see how because he's done it very well before.
Herring 0 for 2 from the line. Doug's got 5 points on the night. Make it 6 as he hits the first. So that's a 5-point lead now for the Edge, 39-34. 3:05 to go here in the half. St. John's Edge on the road leading the Moncton Magic. Moncton looking to stay perfect. They're currently 6-0. They'd love to go 7-0. And Herring 2 for 2 on that trip, so he's now 2 for 4 from the line.
I'll be watching for Cory Allman here, see how he moves on the defensive end. Cory, a lot of people don't understand how his offense overshadows his defense. He's tremendous on this end. That'll be indicative of how well he's moving.
Off that miss, the ball rebounded by Evans. Doug Herring Jr. will stride up the floor. That Herring Jr. cuts to his right, takes it inside, back to Evans. Smooth jumper for the big man. And you know what? Nick Evans, he'll take that all day, and usually he'll hit that all day.
And again, it's Doug Herring directing traffic, recognizing he's got a bit of a mismatch that he likes, going right against a smaller guy.
Jones Sr. testing out the mobility of Cory Allman. Allman stayed with him. Jones got a shot up, but it was no good. Here comes Herring Jr. now.
Great rebound by McCullough in traffic.
Herring Jr. puts on the brakes. Lufield was over top of him now. Evans screens off Lufield. McCullough steps out, gets the open space. McCullough shot, no good. And
another good look though. That was good execution. Got themselves a look that they'll take most of the time.
Des Lee over to Lufield, and a bit of miscommunication there. Lufield saying that McCullough touched it, and he's going to get some agreement from the officials.
And a wry smile from Wayne. You got me?
So Des Lee having a dandy year for the St. John's Edge. That ball inside, kick back outside. English fakes the shot, dribble penetration inside. Wright Jr. with the easy little put up there. That was all initiated, though, by Carl English.
Kind of bad luck on that first one. Wayne blocked it, Carl English's first attempt. Great, well played defensively, but kind of bad luck on the bounce, and Carl was able to skate in and dish it off.
Evans, again, the big man can shoot it, but can't get that one. Lee with the rebound for the St. John's Edge. Des Lee dribbles it up now, gives it off there to Jones Sr. Jones Sr. right back to Des Lee on that right side. Bounces it into Lufield. Lufield and Evans, that's a nice matchup there. Two big men coming together. And English loses the handle. Here comes Cory. Cory floats it up for McCullough, and White is there. They look for the maybe alley-oop highlight reel play, but Billy White, calm and cool, follows it up and gets the little put in.
Almost too many guys getting out on the break, hustling for the Magic. It's good when you got trouble figuring out who's going to take the layup.
Under a minute to go here in the half. English now, Almond on him. Outside, wide open for the jump shot. Not enough energy on that one as it falls a bit short. And here comes Doug Herring Jr. 40 seconds to go, and Herring Jr. runs into Carl English, who was meeting Herring coming down the floor.
And I'm wondering if Carl English is like, I'm questioning his explosiveness a little bit. Not the shape he's in tremendous shape, or anything to do with that. It's purely like he doesn't look as explosive as he did last year. You know, when he's beating guys, he short-armed a couple of layups earlier. His stroke on the three hasn't looked quite as pure. Wayne got up and blocked the shot. Defensively, not able seemingly to slide as well as he did last year. Gave the foul there on Doug a little bit. No, don't know if he's working into shape here. He missed first couple of games of the season. Didn't go on that road trip, so just not quite looking like himself as Terrell English as of yet.
So we see the timeout. We see in the middle of that huddle, Coach Joe Salerno, the longest tenured coach in the National Basketball League of Canada in his second year with the Moncton Magic. And it's a birthday for Coach Joe today. I won't say his age, but he's much younger than I am. But certainly a very happy birthday is wished to Coach Joe Salerno.
Yeah, let's get him a win here tonight. We wheeling out a birthday cake later. Did you make anything for him? What'd you get him?
Well, they asked me to come out of a cake, and they couldn't find one that would allow me to fit inside and still be able to breathe at my ripe old age.
Okay. That's why you've got the sequin outfit on. I had no idea.
Well, I'm not on camera. You weren't supposed to give that away, Dave.
Listen, it's an interactive experience. We give the fans what they want. By the way, fans, check us out on Twitter. Say hi if you want. I'm Hoops Tingley, and you are
Scott_FFM. We would love to hear from you on social media, especially on Twitter. I know that the St. John's Edge fans are engaged and watching. We'd love to hear from you. I got some big news for fans from Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm going to tell you, at least according to one source, what the best fish and chips in the world is.
Oh, you've been teasing that all day.
I have. I'll let you know in the second half. Here's Denzel Taylor. Puts that one up and over the basket from about 4 feet on the baseline.
And that's one that Denzel's got to finish. And he'll tell you he'd be the first guy to say that. And he's got to go up with he's got the athleticism and the power to put that ball on the floor and power up through contact and finish, not fade away with that kind of half hook.
There's about a 3-second difference between the shot and game clock, so you know that the Edge will milk this for as much as they can and not leave the Magic any time. 2-point lead here for the St. John's Edge. Maurice Jones Sr. off the front of the iron, and now about 4 seconds, but it's turned over from outside. Jones Sr., little tap back at the buzzer, and 3 chances in the final stages for the Edge. They couldn't get one of them to go through the hoop, but Dave, the St. John's Edge on the road have come in. It was 25-25 after the first quarter, and they lead by 2, 41-39 after 2 quarters. So again, talking to Steve Marcus prior to the game, he said he wanted this to be an us game and to be kind of a signature game for this Edge team early in the season. After one half, the Edge looking pretty good on the road.
Yeah, defensively they did a wonderful job. We've talked about it all half. They're cutting off ball penetration. Jahi Carson and Doug Herring and Wayne McCullough, the ball handlers for the Magic, are having a tough time finding their way into the key. I have to ask the players. I mean, everybody's got a different look that they're used to. It's definitely a different look in here than it was at the Coliseum last year. It's different lighting, different background, but they've done a very professional job of making this like an arena that these guys would be very comfortable in, where they played in university mostly with these backgrounds. These big colleges and pro teams all over the place do this good job of keeping the background uniform, a dark background they can shoot against, and not the seats that you saw in the Coliseum last year, the empty spaces. So I think they're comfortable in here. I would discount that mostly, but it's worth asking the players. But I think this is the Magic are talking about, at least internally amongst the coaches. We're athletically, we should be able to athletically and skillfully dominate these teams. We are more athletic, we're more skillful. We should be able to get out and run the floor. We should be able in the half court to create our own shots more dependably, and they're just not right now. And they're not getting to the offensive glass. Outside of Denzel Taylor's 2 possessions before he had to step onto the bench with 2, really not a lot of second chance opportunities, and that should be something that they come by athletically with the guys that they have and the physical ability that they have.
So we're going to step aside, take a break here. Leading scorer for the St. John's Edge in that first half was Maurice Jones Sr. with 9, and Billy White for the Moncton Magic, a game-high 12. Some of the Moncton minor basketball players from the Moncton Hawks taking a crack at things here. A nice little layup off the glass and in. We'll leave you to watch some of the Moncton Hawks minor players do their thing. Dave and I will be back in about 10 minutes with the second half. It is the St. John's Edge leading the Moncton Magic 41-39. We'll be back.
Every game when there's somebody different sitting there, we're like, can you guys see over? There was a little girl there last night. I'm like, do you see it? She's like, oh yeah. Where my daughter is. Oh, she's.
2, 3, 4, 5. You got this. Let's go, boys. Oh, it was close. That was close. There's your 5, my friend. That was good stuff.
This one. Sing not quite mobile enough, so coach setting them down. You're on it. You are on it.
What's the other action around the NBL tonight, buddy?
Yeah, I was just gonna check that. We'll do that right now. This song is bad. This song is bad. God, they put it out. Because this song should have. I heard the first part of it where they said about the orgasm. I'm like, hold on, this is the unedited version. That'd be great.
got to do something about that.
So just about set here for the second half of this National Basketball League of Canada matchup between the St. John's Edge, the visitors, taking on the home side Moncton Magic. And Dave, this is the first, look, there's been some close games, but in terms of at home, this is the most that I feel that the Moncton Magic have been threatened in terms of seeing their perfect record be expunged here. And the St. John's Edge played a pretty darn good road first half.
Yeah, you play a 4-game season in a professional basketball league. You're going to run into halves like this where you don't perform up to your potential, where good players in their team do things to make you uncomfortable, and that's what the St. John's Edge did really well in the first half. They made the Magic look very uncomfortable on the offensive end. So good signs for the Magic as they break the huddle here, though. Is Mr. Jahi Carson is back out on the floor.
And I want to give a shout out to a couple of folks watching our broadcast this evening. Adam Pike and Michael Kennedy, both fans of the St. John's Edge, but basketball fans as well, tuned in and watching. And
they're having a basketball-related debate and a non-basketball-related debate, and we'll get to both of those debates here in a second, won't we?
Well, indeed they will, and I just want to let Adam know that I will take under advisement your comment about the fish and chips at the Fort Amherst pub, but that is not the location that was chosen as best in the world. We'll get to that later on, and that's going to open up a debate on Twitter, I'll tell you right now.
We're going to trend. We're going to trend, Scott.
We are underway. Second half action. St. John's Edge with the lead and the ball. Here's Bukar. Sees the opening top of the key. Shot not enough, and it's rebounded by Herring Jr., and he'll bring it up the floor now. Doug Herring Jr. goes to his left, steps back, puts the shot up. That's going to be short. Bukar grabs the rebound and puts it into the hands of Maurice Jones Sr., who had a very good first half for the St. John's Edge. Lee sees the opening falling off to his left. Shot wouldn't drop for him. And Evans got a hand on the rebound, got it to White, who now puts it up with Jahi Carson.
And a really good job defending that shot from Wayne McCullough without fouling, and 2 consecutive trips. Not the shot the Magic wanted after a nice wide open Billy White look in the first one.
Speaking of wide open, Bukard is wide open and goes off the back of the rim. English, though, with the rebound, kicks it back out to Jones Sr. They'll slow it down. Fresh shot clock here. English backs down the defender Carson. Shot's a little bit short and then goes out of bounds, and it'll be Moncton ball.
Carl just does not look like he's got the lift that he normally does in that jumper. That's an easy 2 for him in most circumstances, and really not even close on these tonight so far.
So the Magic on offense now trying to get into some kind of rhythm here. Here's McCullough cutting to his right up against English, bounces it into Evans, and Evans receives that ball well and goes up and underneath the defensive Bukard and gets the 2 points.
What a gorgeous feed from McCullough off the left-handed dribble. Just a wraparound CNI pass to Mr. Evans.
And there's one the other way, as zipping it inside like a quarterback was Jones Sr., and on the receiving end was Keith Wright Jr., and the big man, all 6'8" of them, took the pass and had the easy lay-in. Here's McCullough now on offense. Evans runs a bit of a screen. English tries to keep up with McCullough, dishes to Billy White. Good defense there. McCullough follows, shot's no good, and there's Wright Jr. sucking up that rebound, and then a whistle
and
as
Billy
the ball
White.
The ball was heading up floor, and Billy White is going to get called for the foul.
He's called for a T, actually. And he is still pleading his case, and he's going to have to be careful here.
Yes, indeed. Billy White, you would expect, will be a key performer for Moncton down the stretch in this game, as English hits the technical, so the lead 43-41. And much the same that we had in the start of the second quarter, the start of the third quarter. And not a lot of scoring here.
Now, a couple of good consecutive possessions, though, by the Magic. They got that brilliant Wayne McCullough look, and then again, Wayne got into the paint, got it to Billy, just didn't finish. But it was a good look, and that's the one he was arguing with the foul call about, so we'll see if that kind of turns the tide of the refereeing, as technicals so often do.
Brown Jr. shot no good. Follow from Wright Jr. as the two juniors couldn't connect to get a bucket. And McCullough diving down to the floor. Jones Sr. wrapped up with McCullough on the floor.
And Wayne taps his chest. That's on me. A little over dribble, and just this pattern has continued. Kind of careless turnovers. Not able to get out in the run and quicken up the pace the way they want in the half court. Kind of mistakes and missed shots. And it's combined for a 3-point deficit here earlier in the third for the Magic.
9:17 to go in the third quarter. Jones Sr. English steps back wide open. Can't find the range. Carl hasn't got the shooting eye going yet. And Doug Herring Jr. with some pace. Jahi Carson cuts into the paint. Little backhand pass, maybe ill-advised. Des Lee now in the open floor. McCullough tries to track him down. Lee goes down to the floor hard, and McCullough ends up in the first row of the fans.
And a good foul by Wayne getting back. Making Des Lee make him at the line. But again, the story, another kind of careless turnover. And you're wondering what the play call is on that. It looks kind of playgroundish, that run for Jahi, and it kind of depends on you're really relying on your partner there offensively to read your mind, to know exactly what you've got, and just kind of missing each other here at this end are the Magic.
So Des Lee from the line extends the lead, 46-41, 5-point advantage. Jones Sr. takes a quick peek up at the clock. The big jumbo screen above center court here at the brand new Avenir Center. Here's Jahi Carson. Cuts in, tried to pass it off to the wing, but well defended again by the edge. Here's Brown Jr. Goes baseline, kicks it all the way back out to Lee. English now with a hand right in his grill, and English, that's more the Carl English that fans are used to seeing, Dave.
Yeah, he got some lift on that one and knocked it down. There's some strong fan support behind that basket.
Yeah, there's a good contingent down behind the basket that the Edge are shooting at in this corner, and they are having a little bit of fun with the Edge, and in particular Carl English, and McCullough has a little fun right there as he battles hard underneath and gets the bucket.
Great initial D on the block by Wright Jr., but Wayne McCullough just more athletic, quicker off his feet for that second attempt.
Carl English now takes that ball, penetrates into the paint, puts it off the glass. Rebound there was touched by Denzel Taylor for a minute, but there's Wright Jr. again.
And kind of inexplicable again, Denzel Taylor. That's a board he vacuums up normally. He decided to tap it to his partner for really no reason. He could have just grabbed it with both hands and gone the other way, but just not communicating well tonight are the Magic.
Denzel Taylor.
Another turnover.
Again, another pass trying to go to the inside, and the Edge get a hand on it right back the other way. The pass from senior to junior as Jones tried to connect with Brown, and it didn't quite work. And the peanut gallery down to our right, Dave, enjoyed that sequence.
They're really trying. They're doing their best. Get these Magic players, get their spirits lifted a little bit. We'll see how it affects the offensive end, and a nice penetration by Doug Herring Jr.
That'll certainly help. If anybody can kind of put the team on his shoulders for a few minutes, it's the veteran Doug Herring Jr.
That was just a too easy straight line drive, and Steve Marcus was not very pleased with that after many consecutive possessions of making the Magic work. They gave up an easy one, and that was a really tough screen.
Yeah, Todd Brown Jr. right in the way of Wayne McCullough. McCullough ran straight into that blue wall wearing 21, and McCullough went down, but he pops back up and shakes it off.
And look, despite all of these struggles, you look up at the scoreboard, and it's only a 6-point game. It's ugly, but it's certainly not. This is something that the Magic are right in, 2-possession game.
7:02 to go in the quarter. Bounces into Billy White, lost it for a minute. White bulls his way underneath, and Billy White would not be denied on that play right there. Two more for the young man from Las Vegas, Nevada.
He's really struggled from the perimeter, has Billy, tonight, but again, he gets that 2 feet in the paint. The ball in his left hand, it's done.
Fans now trying to get behind the Moncton Magic, rally the troops, if you will. Des Lee strong to the bucket. Des Lee to the right hand, and McCullough was there, and McCullough incensed as he runs along the baseline as he's picked up another foul.
And his point was there was a referee standing right next to the play as he penetrated. Did Des Lee, and Wayne McCullough really upset about where the source of that call came from.
And that is 4 fouls now on Wayne McCullough, as going to the line is Des Lee, and Lee gets the and one. So Des Lee now up to 8 points, including 3 of 3 from the charity stripe. 6:31 to go here in this third quarter. Doug Herring Jr. thought about the shot, kicks it off to the corner. Shot too short from Jahi Carson. And here comes Des Lee again. Junior Cadogan, Bukar. And he travels with it, and that's a turnover that the Moncton Magic will gladly take. 7-point lead for the St. John's Edge as they look to put a little separation between themselves and the Magic here in the third quarter. And Cory Allman back on the floor.
And it's kind of a, let's try a bunch of different combinations now, see if we can find something. That's what Coach Salerno's doing, coming back with Isaiah Tate, who's still silent. And this is just, that's just a guy hitting the floor and a referee blowing the whistle because of it. That was a really soft call, very soft.
And that is now 3 fouls on Billy White. So all of a sudden, a couple of frontline guys here for the Moncton Magic find themselves in foul trouble. Wayne McCullough with 4, Billy White with 3.
If you're a player, you want the referee to call what he sees, not to be assumptive with a player hitting the floor, and you want to be able to see it. And that was just, there was not much there. A player just took contact and hit the floor.
Nice hands there by Isaiah Tate as he got in on Des Lee, and the possession arrow is with Moncton. And Tate helps Lee up off the floor, and Lee looking at the referee going, what? Come on.
And along with explosive offense through 5 games, Isaiah's really provided solid D on the other end of the floor. He's not the most athletic amongst that Magic backcourt, but he's got good lateral quicks, and he's been really good with his hands, and he dug in there and earned a turnover for the Magic as they go to timeout.
Well, while we've got this media timeout, I talked a little bit about it on social media earlier, and I talked about it late in that first half. But, Dave, something that's talked about at length in Newfoundland and Labrador by folks who live there and by expats like me is, where do you get the best fish and chips? Because Newfoundland and Labrador known for having the best fish and chips in the land.
You mean it's not deluxe?
It is not deluxe. Well, not in my opinion anyway. Spoken like a true New Brunswicker for you, Dave. But fee and chi, as they call it, fish and chips.
Yeah.
You know, for me, chesses for years, scampers, the big R, you name it. But
Hold on, are you still speaking English?
I am indeed.
Okay.
And recently, a report was released by a UK-based website called They have the Best Restaurant Awards. And they send out upwards of 300 critics around the world to sample dishes, restaurants in every type of genre, every type of food, anything you can think of. Go to the website, and you'll see there's about 400 categories there. But recently, Captain's Table on the southern shore of Newfoundland and Labrador, about 30 minutes south of St. John's, was named as having the best fish and chips in the world. And it's named actually after a pretty famous Newfoundlander, Captain William Jackman, and the Jackman family owns the Captain's Table. And Captain William Jackman actually famously saved a number of folks who were in distress on a schooner off the coast of Newfoundland back in a big storm of October of 1867. You can look up their Facebook page, the Captain's Table. But Dave, according to the Best Restaurant Awards, it's the Captain's Table on the southern shore that's got the best fish and chips, not only in Newfoundland, my friend, the world.
So we're going to take the Magic private plane after this, fly right there. Are they still open? They've got late hours on Saturday?
Well, they will if they know we're coming, now that we gave them a shout-out on the broadcasting. And here's Cory Allman. He'd love to get it going. Tate saw the ball was short, gets it. Look at Isaiah Tate battle underneath as Cory Allman was short with the shot, and Isaiah Tate battled no less than 3 edge blue jerseys under there. However, it goes out of bounds, but you can't fault the effort there from Isaiah Tate.
Absolutely not. And you can see kind of the same deal with Terrell English on Cory Allman, kind of not lacking a little bit of lift in that first shot. Back in the lineup. We'll see if he gets another opportunity here.
Here's Jones Sr. He's been good. Not so good on that one, though. And Denzel Taylor with the defensive rebound, and now it's Doug Herring Jr. Herring Jr. to Billy White. Here's Billy backing away from Boucard. Now he'll put it on the floor, cradles it for a moment, lost the handle inside, and they're going to get Boucard for the foul. And Boucard, well, there's a reaction you see quite often, but very demonstrative as Boucard throws the hands up to the head and says, "What, me?"
It's just so tough. Billy just plays so hard and accepts and initiates so much contact that it's a really difficult whistle, a little difficult play for the referees to whistle. And what do you call, what don't you call? Kind of that Shaq back in the 90s. You know, there's so much contact always going on. What do you pick out? What do you leave alone? So it's a tough tough needle to thread for the refs, calling Billy White down low.
4:58 to go in the third quarter. Billy White to the left hand off the baseline. Ball rattles around on the glass for a minute. Tate gets the defender to commit, puts the shot up, can't get it to drop, and the Magic still a little cold here from the floor. Here's Lee now, Des Lee. 4:40 to go. Moncton with 14 fouls in this quarter. St. John's Edge with 2. 54-47, 7-point lead for the visitors from the Rock. Here's Jones Sr. Maurice takes it in, cradles it, tries to go hard to the bucket. Gets rejected though, and Herring Jr. high stepping up the floor, kicks it off to Cory in the corner. Cory loves it, and there it is. The fans have been waiting for the long distance call back home to DC, and Cory delivers. And that's got to feel good for the team, the fans, but certainly for 3 for the Moncton Magic, Cory Allman.
Yeah, and that brings the Magic up to a magical 3 for 16 from the three-point line tonight, Scott. They needed it really bad, and it's a good one to see Cory go down. That'll give him some confidence. Maybe that ankle's feeling a little better than he thought, maybe.
Well, you know, you talk about it all the time. Sometimes players have a hard time hitting that first one, and they can't take the lid off, as you say, but there's just something about mentally seeing that ball go through the cylinder, seeing that mesh ripple that kind of just turns it around and gives you that confidence. And Cory Allman has been waiting weeks to be able to have a chance to hit one from the outside and to see a 3-ball go, and then to use that signature, calling back home.
Nobody likes to make a 3 more than Cory Allman, and this is just, it was just needed so badly. And look, again, the storylines last night and tonight are so similar. I mean, look, the bench, I mean, it's been a tough road to hoe for anybody to score tonight for the Magic outside of Billy White with 14 points. One player in double figures, and the Salerno children getting some screen time here at the Avenir Center tonight on the big board.
I know. I just want to go up to their kids and say, hey, can you teach me how to Dougie?
Yeah? Yeah, I thought you had that in your bag already.
I'm working on how to Dougie. I'm working on
you got the cabbage patch. You got the cabbage patch down?
And how to floss.
Okay, the floss.
And I'm not just talking my teeth.
Yeah, the running man.
So 4-point lead, and we'll see now how much energy the Moncton Magic get from having their emotional leader, Cory Allman, hit a bucket, a signature 3 for Cory. We'll see here. The Edge, they've been good all game long. We'll see if they can keep it going here. 4:06 to go in the third. Lee, nice pass to Lewfield, and Lewfield, the big man, with the answer off the nice little feed from Lee.
Lewfield and Wright Jr. have given him something down there in the post tonight.
Denzel Taylor inside, nice pass to Billy White. Billy leans in, shot won't drop for him, and Denzel follows up. Cory well downtown. Cory Allman hits that one from way up north in Bathurst.
It's 1, it's 2. Here comes the wave from Cory Allman. When he gets going, there's no range you can't shoot from.
And you know that Coach Steve Marcus and the Edge will be very aware now of keeping an even closer eye on Cory Allman. Here's Cadogan. 5 on the shot clock. Lewfield backs into the defender. Lewfield puts it up off glass. And again, Chadrick Lewfield is feeling just fine.
I mean, really, that's 8 found points for the St. John's Edge that they probably didn't expect to get. I mean, look, Chad's a talented guy, but to come in cold like this and do some damage the way he's doing to the front line of the Magic is unexpected, to say the least.
2:56 to go in the third quarter. 5 on the shot clock. And they're going to get Boucard on the foul again as he was up against Billy White.
And Billy strongly believes that was the second or third foul that they ended up blowing the whistle on. And listen, Billy plays at with an edge, no pun intended, but he kind of walks that line a little bit where he's earned himself a tee tonight already. You want to keep him on the kind of this side of that red line.
Wholesale changes now as Terrell English back into the game, along with Jones Sr. for the Edge. Here's Denzel, baseline, steps underneath, back the other way, and Denzel Taylor just muscled that one in, Dave.
And that's what he's got to do. He's talented enough, he's strong enough, he's athletic enough to finish those opportunities provided him by guys like Carson, and he downed it this time.
Terrell English sees the man open in the corner. Shot put up there out of the hands of Nickens, no good. And here comes Tate, a chance now. If a 3-ball goes in, this game would be tied. Billy White back to Isaiah Tate. Tate spins away from the defender Des Lee. Tate behind the back. 11 on the shot clock, 2:10 in the quarter. Look at Tate Good handles there, but Lee stays with him. A little nudge. What a battle this is one-on-one. But the last 20 seconds in the shot with the clock winding down. And as fun as it was to watch Tate handle the ball, what defense from Des Lee. And he just came over and gave a chest bump to his coach.
Well, that was just, I mean, look, you leave a guy matched one-on-one with a talented player like Isaiah Tate for 15 consecutive seconds. You think he's going to find a way to beat him, but Des Lee just moving those feet. Moving the puppies, keeping them in front of him.
You could almost just take that highlight and just put it on and put it on loop. That was just fun to watch for about those 15 seconds. As you said, 1:45 to go in the quarter. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Jones Sr. busts into the middle, puts it high. Trying to get the rebound there was White Jr., but it goes out of bounds.
But the bigger story from that possession is why did the ball get stuck in one guy's hands for that long? And that's the story tonight for them. They're just not playing at a pace with the ball movement that they want to play at. And it's why the Edge are still in this game.
And again, with all that we're talking about with the Moncton Magic, it's a one-possession game as Jahi Carson brings it up the floor. Gets it to Taylor. Taylor into the corner for Tate. And Terrell English comes over with the quick closeout. And Coach Joe Salerno points at the referee and claps his hands and says, good call.
Carl's very upset, sharing a smile with Doug Herring and some of the fans there in the corner. He is convinced that was all ball. And yet, the record continues, the unblemished record of referees never reversing their calls.
Terrell English over having a friendly chat with one of the referees about that last play. And the lefty from the line, Isaiah Tate, hits on that first. Isaiah Tate, that's his first points on the night for the young man. And 2 for 2. Let's see if he can make it 3 for 3.
He got the lid off last night by getting to the line. And let's see if this, again, he's been struggling all weekend. Let's see if this can get him off the schneid, if he can give the Magic something at the offensive end.
And we are tied 3 for 3 from the line for Isaiah Tate. He's on the board with his first 3 points, and the Moncton Magic have come back, and we are back to square one here, tied up at 58 all. Jones Sr. now calling for some help. Steps in, then steps back. Looking to somewhere to go. He goes to Lufield down low. Lufield takes it in strong. Couple of taps on the rebound. And it comes to Capellan. We haven't seen number 13 in blue, Diego Capellan, that much, and he watches that ball go out of bounds.
The Edge have done a really good job with Lufield and Wright Jr. Keith Wright Jr. of getting them on the block with a mismatch. They've been able to move the ball, get a switch, and get down there. It was really good help that time from both Nick Evans and Denzel Taylor to bother that shot.
And Jahi Carson, as he likes to do, he likes to slash into that paint and draw contact. And while Jahi Carson goes to the line, I reference the contingent of family and friends that always gets together to watch his games online back home at Phoenix, Arizona. Are you ready for this list? We've got his cousin, Jeff Ewing. We've got Charlene W. We've got his pops, Jonathan Carson, or JC as he's known, his brother Chris Royalty, his mom Karen Carson, his little cuz, as he told me, Corey Russell, and his grandmother is watching, O. Walker Simmons, and she's the one who reached out via Twitter. Jaw told me, he said, Grandma's in her 80s, but she's on Instagram, she's on Twitter, and she was the one who initiated the communication and sent me out all those names. So listen to all of the Carson family and friends watching back home in Phoenix, Arizona, where I know it's a little bit hotter than it is here in Moncton. Great to have you on the broadcast. Great to have you watching. You just saw Denzel Taylor with a big rejection. Look at Lufield, the big physical move right into Nick Evans, but Nick Evans wasn't moving.
It was a great tandem effort by the big duo inside. Denzel Taylor wipes the board clean with an eraser, and then Nick Evans bellying up tough, forcing a turnover.
We might have to give Nick Evans a post in the Minister of Defense with Denzel Taylor, and Evans now trying to use that touch, and he rolls it around and gives the big puff of air as he exhales as that ball takes the friendly Avenir center roll and drops. And now, for the first time in a while, the Moncton Magic are in the lead. There is barely a difference between the shot clock and the game clock, so the Edge will play for the last shot here with 9 seconds to go in the quarter. Jones Sr. to the basket, explosive move there, and a couple of seconds here. Jahi Carson's got to put it up at the buzzer. Falls just short. So a 2-point bucket by Jones Sr. with the nice move with a couple of seconds left, pull the St. John's Edge to within 1. But buckle up, fans. The fourth quarter should be a doozy. 1-point game, and it's my favorite time of the night, Dave. It's the Fortnite Boogie Party.
You say it's your favorite time of the night, and yet you don't break out the dances.
Well, they get to show me all of the Fortnite selly dances that I can do and that my 13-year-old daughter makes fun of me for not being able to do.
Really? Got a daughter that makes fun of you? Mine loves me.
Well, how old is your daughter?
9.
9, okay. Yeah. Wait till middle school
All right.
at 13.
All right.
That's all I'm saying. She's a wonderful kid. She's a great kid. Not much trouble. But things do get a little different when they become 13.
They get a little loose. I gotcha.
And it becomes professional eye rolling.
Okay.
So 3 quarters in the books, Dave. Did you see anything different from the Moncton Magic in that third quarter? Yes, it's a tight game. But the Edge were leading for the better part of that third quarter. Then a couple of big Cory Allman threes. Maybe that's the big difference. But did you see anything different that the Edge were doing that kind of took away the little bit of the momentum from the Edge, especially on the defensive side?
Well, look, on the defensive side, they've been solid all night. But the Edge have done a very good job, like I said, towards the end of that quarter, of creating some mismatches off some switches, off some ball screens, off some handoffs, being patient and getting some good looks inside the paint, which they got none of on the island last weekend. And it's been Shadrach Lufiel that's been the beneficiary a couple times, and it's been Keith Wright Jr. a couple times. And what the Magic did a little better job of in that towards the end of that quarter was being more physical in the paint. Denzel Taylor came in and out a little element of that. Nick Evans did a good job towards the end of the quarter. If they can maintain that physicality, I think they can dominate the Edge inside the paint, clean up the glass, force some tougher shots, force them to the perimeter. And, of course, Cory Allman came in, splashed a couple threes, and added a dimension we haven't seen from the Magic all weekend. They struggled last night from the three-point line, and it's been another titanic struggle tonight from the arc as well. We'll see if the lids come off as we start the fourth here.
So through 3 quarters, it is a 1-point lead for the Moncton Magic, and the Edge control on offense here to start quarter 4. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley with you. We're glad to have you with us wherever you're tuned into this NBL Canada broadcast on Magic TV. Cadogan dishes it off there. Nice move inside. Des Lee with the 360 spin move as he went up into the air and went right into Denzel Taylor.
And Nick Evans is going to be the guy called for the foul, it looks like, yeah. And look, Des Lee is an athletic guy, and he did a really smart thing there, which is the temptation as the smaller guy going against the bigger guys to pull the ball back, double clutch, try to get fancy finger roll. What the smarter play is get your body into the body of the shot blocker and make him and initiate some contact and make him make a good defensive play. And if you don't get the finish, you'll get the call. And that was what Des Lee did very smartly, but missed the free throw on the front end.
And in the upper right corner, you see that peanut gallery sitting behind the baseline. They are in full voice right now into this fourth quarter, I should say. And I think the frosty beverages are helping them get in full voice here in quarter 4. Here's
root beer. You're saying root beer.
Indeed. Cory Allman now with that ball. Bucard now comes out on him. Evans gets the ball down low. Dean up on him is Todd Brown Jr. Evans steps back. Soft touch again from Nick Evans.
He's been quiet for a lot of the night after a big night last night, but a couple of nice fadeaways, tough shots he's made here in the last 5 minutes of play.
Junior Cadogan in a crowd tried to feed it inside to Lufiel. And for perhaps the first time tonight, Dave, we're seeing the Edge look just a little bit unsure and a little bit disjointed.
The Magic are being a little bit more physical with that screen roll, making the St. John's Edge, giving them a little dose of their medicine. St. John's has made Moncton a little uncomfortable with that movement tonight. They're doing a much better job of making the Edge a little uncomfortable at that end.
Nice feed from Carson to Evans. Lufiel, Dean up on him.
Yeah, and a good call by the referee.
The call goes against Evans. Evans looking at the referee saying, what was the call?
Yeah, palming the ball.
Yeah,
I thought he got away with that a couple times last night, leading into his fadeaway. So a good call here tonight.
Well, and Lufiel knew it right away. He knew what the call was. Here's Cadogan now. Stepping back, Denzel Taylor will stick with him. Cadogan to Lufiel. Lufiel bulls his way into the paint and goes right into Evans and Denzel
They
Taylor.
are giving him 2 shots, and I'm sorry, that is robbery on Denzel Taylor. Tremendous defense. Got his hands straight up. If he got any of anything, it was the ball. And they're giving Chad Field 2 shots.
So that's the third foul on Denzel. That's the second team foul for the Moncton Magic here early in this fourth quarter. 10:31 to go, and Loufield hits the first. And look, Loufield playing his first game for the St. John's Edge. I believe that the St. John's Edge coaching staff and the fans should be pretty pleased with what they've seen from number 7 in blue, Chadrick Loufield.
He's been a difference maker. There's no doubt about it. His minutes have been tremendous.
Can't hit the second, tried to follow up the miss, but it's McCullough who comes down with it. Loufield right on top of him like a backpack as McCullough was coming up the floor. 16 on the shot clock now. Evans. Lee watches him. Big zip pass cross court to Cory Allman. Now up high for Jaw Carson. 7 on the shot clock. Carson to Cory Allman in the corner. Allman, not enough on that one. It goes off the front side of the rim, and Des Lee gobbles up the defensive rebound and gets it up now to Cadogan. 10 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Cadogan. Evans took a swipe at the ball. Boucar had that ball for a moment, tried to get it inside there to Loufield, and the play whistled down. I think they're going to call Denzel again.
They are. And Billy White's checking back into the game, and I'll be surprised if he sees the bench again. He's probably going to play these last full 10 minutes if his wrist lets him.
63-62. Low-scoring affair here at the Avenir Center in Moncton. Cadogan. Boucar thought about the shot, decides to put it on the floor, and Carson rips it away, and then Boucar tries to track Carson down from behind. Jahi Carson cradles the ball like a running back for a couple of steps, and then floats through the air and gets the bucket.
And those are the type of hoops that Magic defense want to use. That's the type of shots they think that a solid defensive one should be able to create, and they just haven't gotten out and played at that pace. And again, that was just too easy for Des Lee, and he is down and hurt.
Yeah, that was a pretty move by Des Lee, but he now is being looked at.
And that looked to me like kind of serious.
He immediately stayed down on the floor, and one of the trainers got off the bench immediately and is tending to Des Lee to the basket well off to our right. I know you can't see it on your camera shot, but he is underneath the basket at the right side of the court and being tended to. It's his left leg or ankle that they're checking.
No, it didn't look like a turned ankle, so my first thought was, oh gosh, it was like a, almost like a Achilles injury or something, but hopefully it's a cramp. It could just be something minor like that, and we'll hope so. And Des is walking it off, and we'll hope he's all right. Hope he's all right.
Well, Des Lee certainly an important part of this St. John's Edge team. There's no question about it.
Looks to me like that's what it is. They're trying to stretch it out over there. I think he just hit the floor. He's played hard tonight, and he's cramping up.
Well, he can bring some offensive flair, but he's the top rebounder coming into this game, averaging 9 boards a game for the St. John's
From a
Edge.
shooting guard spot. That tells you how tough he is, how necessary he is to them, to their defensive schemes, and he's been one of the ringleaders of tonight's defense for the Edge, and orchestrating a really tough-minded approach here for them tonight.
So a bit of a discussion taking place here. You see it on the left of your screen. Meanwhile, Boucar and Cory Allman look on as the two officials had a lengthy discussion.
And Terrell English and Billy White sharing a story. Not sure what's going on here, but we got action underway, and there goes Cory to work.
That shot a bit short, but Billy White grabs the rebound. Billy White kicks it outside, saved there by Almond. Cory faked the shot, puts it on the floor. McCullough too strong from the corner, but there's Denzel. Catches that ball underneath with Boucar right around his hip. And they're going to get Guillaume with the foul.
And there's another injury. Wayne McCullough coming up limping in the corner, holding looks like his quad area, the upper part of his knee, and this is just getting comical at this point if you're a Magic fan.
This could be like a war of attrition here down the stretch between these two teams in this game. 9:02 to go. 65-64 is your score. Here's Cory from about 16 feet, and Cory good right there. He's good from long distance, but he can hit the mid-range stuff as well.
And they're running sets for him to get him shots, which tells me he's told them he's really comfortable.
Here's Boucar now, speaking of comfortable, puts it up for 3, too strong. Wright Jr. with the rebound, and he'll look for somewhere to go. Goes back outside for Cadogan. 19 seconds on the shot clock. Cadogan looking for somewhere to go. Carson out on defense. Terrell English now. Cory Allman watching him. That's a neat matchup to take a look at. And English goes in, takes it strong off glass with a couple there for the edge.
And a good job down low by Wright Jr. screening off Billy White as Terrell English made his approach. Made that kiss a little bit easier.
Jahi Carson, strong move, takes it in, up and over the defender and off the glass, and all the folks back home in Phoenix, Arizona will like Jahi rising on that one.
He just has not had many opportunities like that tonight to get his game off, get downhill, get his body into that shot blocker and finish, and he was able to that time.
Terrell English got Billy White to commit defensively, took it baseline, shot was no good. Wright Jr. looked for the rebound, but it's Doug Herring Jr. who comes out of a crowd and tried to step around Cadogan, but Cadogan going to get called for the foul.
And Doug Herring did a great job. You need those guards to sink hard and provide help defensively on the boards.
And one thing that this Moncton Magic team has talked about all year, from the preseason, training camp, right through the first 6 games, is regardless of what we're doing offensively, we know that if we play our clamped down, tough defense, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's what you lean on. If you're going to have your struggles and not making shots, but if you can lean on your defense, and another just almost a nice play gets turned over, and Denzel Taylor had rolled really hard to the lane, just a couple of hands in the way, tipped the ball out of bounds, and Denzel wasn't able to control it. And just when you think like they're getting some rhythm, a couple of turnovers sneaks into the game for the Magic.
Here's Jones Sr. now. Jahi Carson trying to stay with him. A crowd in the paint, and it's Wright Jr. going in. So the two big men tonight, Wright Jr. and Lufiel, have certainly made their presence felt and have played some very good minutes for the edge.
They have been invaluable. And we're going the other way here yet again. And are we cramping again with another player? No, Denzel popped right back up.
Let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard, Dave. Several other games taking place around the NBLC tonight.
Sudbury 5 are up 3 on Windsor Express as they approach halftime. Island Storm have a 7-point lead over the defending champs, the Lightning, on the island. And Halifax Hurricanes are putting it to the KW Titans in Halifax by 35.
In our game here, a one-point affair, 69-68. Moncton leading. Jahi Carson cuts through a couple of defenders, gives it off to White, and a nice rejection underneath by Wright Jr. Billy White wanted a call, but outside, Doug Herring Jr. says, you can't defend that.
And that's twice now that Denzel Taylor, not giving up on the play, crashed the boards, and that smart kick out to a three-point line. So often, those shooters are ready for those kickouts from the offensive glass, and Denzel's feeding them.
4-point lead for the Moncton Magic. Terrell English now. Denzel Taylor comes out to challenge him. English, like a traffic cop, telling everyone which direction to go. Outside, Cadogan puts the long ball up off the iron. Tapped there by Herring Jr. And then Billy White gets it right back to Doug Herring.
So smart by Doug. He knew that they didn't have blockout position, all the big guys, and he came down, contributed, tipped that ball to his teammate.
Doug Herring Jr. now puts that up again. Doug Herring Jr. back of the iron, rebounded there by Wright Jr. English gets it up to Cadogan. One-on-one with Herring. Cadogan underneath to the right hand. Tough shot, nice finish.
Ooh. Yeah, that was tough. Doug had his hands up, and Junior Cadogan just a little kind of half Euro step and then kiss off the glass on a tough finish, and right back to 2 points.
That's 6 points on the night now for Junior Cadogan. Cory Allman gets it over to Billy White. Billy White, you can see sometimes he has a problem receiving passes with that wrapped left hand, but he doesn't have a problem there. Went into the paint, put the shot up, and very frustrated, and Billy puts his face into his hands and walks over toward the Moncton sideline.
And another second opportunity provided by Denzel. He's really doing that work. That's what he's paid for. Create second shot opportunities. He's putting in work there tonight down low, Scott Squires.
We've got a media timeout, 5:50 to go, 72-70, a 2-point game. And this one's got the feel of coming down to a last possession game. And it's interesting, a couple of the St. John's Edge fans who have been watching the game and communicating with us via social media on Twitter, they've been having quite the internal discussion about the big men on this St. John's Edge team, in particular Wright Jr., and certainly Chadwick Lufiel. And it appears that at least the fans that we're seeing right now watching the game and talking on Twitter seem to enjoy the efforts of Mr. Lufiel.
Sure, and the debate online initially, they started about Keith Wright Jr. and his value to this team. But look, I'm of the opinion that Keith Wright is a valuable member of this team. Yes, he's a little bit limited athletically. He's not the explosive athlete that you look for in an ideal guy down low, but he is very skilled. And he can finish with that left very well, and he carves out the space down. Very smart, high IQ guy clearly, and tonight, 14 and 13. He's been doing work down there and been invaluable tonight, just as new addition Mr. Lufil has been 9 and 4 for him in more limited minutes.
As we take a look at the Moncton Magic huddle, I'm trying to think and remember if we have seen Gentry Thomas since that situation where that shot didn't go in for him and he was slow to get back on defense. Have we seen him since then?
You are 100% correct. We have not seen him. And I think this is a lesson learned tonight for the rookie. But he's back in now in crunch time, just as we say it.
Yeah, as we say it, you
have to think there was a discussion on the bench before he was going to come back in. You're going to get back in, but you're going to sit here and watch for a while. We're going to talk to you a little bit. There has to have been some sort of discussion like that. You wouldn't have had that big a break.
Well, and as good as Gentry Thomas has been, we've referenced how he doesn't look like a rookie. The bottom line is he is a true rookie. There's going to be learning curves like that.
And he's a very, very good kid. And he's not a bad attitude type that you're going to see that out of a lot.
Doug Herring Jr. now. Tight game here from the Aveners. And here's McCullough right into English. Kicks it off to Billy White. Baseline jump shot, no good. But the rebound by guess who? Denzel Taylor.
You can see Coach on this side of the floor going, where is he? Find him.
Doug Herring Jr. now weaving through a crowd. Where is he going to go with it? He goes to Gentry Thomas. Here's Gentry, spin move. And they're going to give the call to the St. John's Edge. And Coach Joe Salerno claps hands and says, okay, that's all right. I like the effort. We'll be okay.
And I don't know if Coach Marcus is going to get paid for his dual roles tonight of head cheerleader and head coach.
He is
into it over here. Love it.
He is indeed making the most of his last time as head coach with his actual head coach, Doug Plum, coming back from the suspension next game. 5:02 to go. Jones Sr. from downtown. That might have been from St. Anthony up on the southern tip of the island of Newfoundland.
And he's asking for a foul, too, and I think he should have gotten it. He was some touch on the wrist there from Gentry and didn't earn himself a trip to the line, but gave his team a 1-point lead again.
Seesaw has tipped back now to the edge with the lead. Gentry Thomas tried to go in. I think Lee might have got a hand on that one. Jones Sr. back the other way. Bounce pass to Lufil. Lufil rolls it around. That was in the cylinder. I think they're going to give the bucket there to the St. John's Edge.
And I think Jahi Carson's going to come right back for Gentry. And look, you talked a little bit earlier on Jahi Carson's penetration, how he cradles that ball like a football when he attacks the rim. And you watch Gentry Thomas the next time. He has that tendency to hold the ball out, that sweeping where he holds the ball away from his body, and that probably worked in college. And that's probably one of those lessons you learn when you come to the pro game. Protect that ball better. Earn yourself a trip to the line, maybe.
And a foul called there on Keith Wright Jr. That's going to send the Moncton Magic to the line right now. Leading scorers in the game, both with 14. Maurice Jones Sr. for the Edge and Billy White for the Moncton Magic. And it's McCullough at the line now. Wayne is 0 for 0 as this is his first trip to the line. He hits there, though. That gives Wayne 7 points on the night.
Keith Wright Jr. as well with a double-double at 14 points and 13 boards, as we said earlier, for the Edge.
And free throws could become very, very important down the stretch here in this tight game. 4:17 to go, 75-74 Edge lead. Here's Wright Jr., gives it off to Terrell English. English puts it on the floor, skates off to his right, kicks it back out to Jones Sr.
He got away with steps in the lane.
And Coach Salerno was asking for it, didn't get it. Jones Sr. with the handles. Knuckleball shot, no good. McCullough with the rebound. Wayne McCullough up to Herring Jr. He puts on the brakes, cross court to Jahi Carson. Carson looking for somewhere to go, somewhere to find. Jahi Carson goes against English, bounces it to Herring Jr. Wide open, corner three, bounces off the iron. English with the rebound.
Really nice movement by the Magic, though. That's a shot they want. That's a productive visit on the offensive end, even though there weren't points.
Remains the 1-point lead for the Edge. Jones Sr. taking his time. 3:30 to go. Here's Desmond Lee. Nice bounce pass to Lufil. Billy White comes over to challenge, and challenge just enough to throw off the shot by Lufil. And here come the Magic. Well, the music playing, y'all ready for this? I think the fans are ready for the Magic to take a lead here. McCullough strong to the baseline, tries to get the bucket. tackback is there another time.
Guess who?
And Denzel Taylor, a couple of tries underneath for the Magic. And it's the Minister of Defense with some offense right there. Lufield back the other way. Strong.
That's going to be a charge on Billy White stepping in.
And both players on the floor getting helped up. Lufield first, Billy White second. But again, Dave, how many different dimensions does Billy White have to his game?
Billy White and Denzel, and I think these last 3-4 minutes, you've really seen the damage that those two can do on both ends of the floor for the Magic. Denzel has not had his offensive finishing touch tonight that we've seen through the first 5-6 games of this season, and Billy White's struggled from the perimeter, but they are loads down low. They do not let struggles in the offensive end affect them on the defensive end, and they are working their butts off at that end and added in that dimension of death, taxes, and Denzel Taylor on the offensive glass, the league's leader from last year, carrying over to this year.
Well, everyone has got to step up and play defense down the stretch for both teams, but it's getting to that point of the game now, Dave, where you got to start looking up and down the bench for both coaches and say, okay, who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the one that's going to have the ball in their hands in the dying moments? Because, again, I referenced it earlier, but you just get the feeling that this is going to come down to a last possession game.
This is going to be a game in the 80s where guys have got lots of bumps and scrapes and bruises, and they're banged up. This is about who's going to dig deep. These, especially in a league like the NBA where you got separation between games. Dig deep. You got days off after this. Leave it all out there. Who's going to dig the deepest and work the hardest is going to come out on top in this game.
And looking at some of the numbers so far in the game in terms of field goal percentage and
listen,
3-point.
The story is still the 3-point line. I mean, look, you never would have guessed coming into this game that the Magic would be 5 for 23 and still in it. I wouldn't have thought that. St. John's 6 for 24 in their own right, but they're doing work down low, which that was an element that was missing last weekend on the Rock, but they've added it tonight, and it's kept them in the game.
We are in for a fantastic final 180 seconds, a 1-point lead for the Magic at home. Carson way downtown off the rim. McCullough tries to get the rebound. He goes down in a heap to the floor, and it's Terrell English bringing it up for the edge. English now over to Jones Sr. He'll just calmly slow things down for St. John's. 2:38 to go. 76-75. Moncton Magic lead here. Can they keep the record perfect? Can the edge spoil the undefeated streak? Boucard tries to make a move. Lost the handle on it, and I think that call is going to go against the Magic.
And it's Billy White on the reach-in, and Billy's a little amazed.
That's the fourth on Billy.
Thought he had his hand in there quick enough to knock it off of Boucard, but referee said they got hand.
Here's Jones Sr. now, 12 on the shot clock. Terrell English, nice pass inside to Wright Jr. Wright Jr. leans in, and they're going to get Wright Jr. for the charge.
And yes, who?
That man right there in the center of your frame, Denzel Taylor. The young man, the Canadian from Brampton, Ontario, went to Old Dominion University. And I'll tell you what a valuable piece of the puzzle is Denzel Taylor.
People wonder why I rave about him. I'm the president of the fan club, unabashed my membership in that fan club. And that's why he just gives so much damage on the defensive end of the floor.
Billy White, they're going to need offense, and they get 2 points there. Billy White with a couple. And as important as defensive stops are going to be for both teams down the stretch with 2:05 to go, executing on offense as well.
Somebody's going to have to step up and make one. And Billy's as good a candidate on this squad as anybody else.
Billy White now with a game-high 16. English now. Bit of a double team now, but Denzel Taylor will stay with Terrell English. 1:50 to go. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Denzel staying with English. What's Carl going to do? Goes right into the chest of Denzel. Denzel stays with him. Carl fades away at the baseline. Time winding down on the shot clock. Great defense there from Denzel. Here comes Jahi Carson. Carson weaving through that crowd. Cradles that ball. Takes it in against the defense, and it goes out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Magic.
And Coach Salerno telling his guy to calm down. We maintained possession of the ball. Ja was a little upset about what he felt was some reaching in there, but lots of physicality in this game. This has been a really tough one to call, and I've disagreed with a lot of calls, but the refs have done the best job they can. This is a tough one to call.
1:25 left to play. Magic with the lead and the ball. Here's Billy White to McCullough for three. Huge if it goes, and it doesn't. But big rebound for Doug Herring Jr. 1:15.
Careless box out by the St. John's Edge. That's going to come back to haunt them here if the Magic convert on their second chance.
One possession game. Magic in the lead by 3, and it's turned over. Jones Sr. now pushing the pace, gives it to Boucard, leans into the shot.
And another one.
And a charge, and who's on the floor, Dave?
Could it be Denzel Taylor, Scott?
I think, ding, 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 you are correct. Denzel Taylor again with position, drawing the charge, and Coach Steve Marcus now has the coat off, and he is a little unhappy.
It was thrown Frisbee style behind the bench. He was up off his feet, strenuously disagreeing with that call.
Well, these two teams came in. The Moncton Magic averaging 108.7 points per game, second best in the NBL. St. John's 101.8, seventh best. Both teams, as you said, it's going to be in the 80s, maybe 70s. Here's Carson, 49 to go. Jahi Carson kicks it to Billy, back to Jahi. Jones Sr. on him. Jahi Carson charges into the lane, puts it up, rolls around, won't go. English with the important rebound. 37 to go, 3-point lead. Des Lee thought about the shot, kicks it to Jones Sr.
Now if you're the Magic, you can afford to give up a 2. You really got to give yourself up to stop the 3.
This fantastic crowd at the Avenir Center on their feet. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Jones Sr. in a crowd, almost lost the handle. Des Lee's got to put it up. Shot clock expires. Here comes Jahi Carson to the basket. Jahi misses it. Billy with the follow. Can't get the putback, and he gets the foul, though. Big sequence at both ends of the floor by the Moncton Magic. The fans are on their feet, Dave, and 9 seconds away from going 7-0.
And Coach Marcus, he has been upset with the way this whistle has gone against the squad this last couple minutes, and that one is a tough. And that one's a tough one.
So Billy White at the line.
We thought that we were calling there was a technical foul call. We thought there for a second, but no. But there was a question there with Coach Marcus that I understand. The buzzer went off while the ball was in the air, and we do have a call you want to say about there, Scott?
Well, it's getting close to that time now, Dave. Who knows who it could be, but player of the game.
Oh, I've got it picked. It's Denzel Taylor.
Denzel Taylor will be the player of the game, regardless of the outcome. Denzel will be the guy. 9 seconds to go here, and Billy hits the big free throw to make it a 2-possession game. 80-75, and the fans are up. And Dave, heave away, me jollies, heave away, as the theme of the kitchen party at the Avenir Center that was started on the first weekend of play here a couple of weeks ago continues as the fans are on their feet.
We got viewing parties all over the North America watching these games. We got Mr. Chuck Posthumus out there in Winnipeg having a viewing party for his man here. And soon he's going to be able to watch his guy play. We've got the Carson viewing party in Arizona. We got probably kitchen parties
all across
in St. John's,
Labrador, I'm telling you. And while we've got a kitchen party theme going, I just want to give a tip of the cap to the birthday boy, Coach Salerno, and his assistant, Elvin Mims, over in St. John's last week. They actually took the chance. After they got both games. They knew it was business first, but they went to Old Erie's Pub. They kissed the cod. They said the saying. They drank the shot of Screech, and they now are officially, at least on paper, Newfoundland and Labradorians.
I know, and I think that's probably, listen, I don't think it's overdoing it to say that's one of their proudest accomplishments in their lives, I would say, being Screeched and becoming official Newfoundland and Labradorians. Is that the proper Newfoundland and Labradorians?
I think unless someone tells me otherwise. I'm originally from St. John, so no.
You got to include the Labrador.
You do indeed. 80-75. Wright Jr. 7 seconds to go. English down to the floor. Gets it to Wright Jr. Puts it up from well outside. Bounces off the backboard, and that will do it. The Moncton Magic, Dave. It was in doubt for a while, but they do indeed stay perfect. They secure win number 7, and they are still in the hunt to set the all-time record for an undefeated start to the season in the National Basketball League of Canada.
That's 11-0. They're over halfway there, and listen, you've mentioned it many times, winning different ways, and this was probably their ugliest win so far. But look, the Edge came to play tonight. The Edge were tremendous on the defensive end. They got the Magic out of a lot of what they wanted to do, and I think they're showing respect here, these teams, to each other here at the end, and it was a rough game, and the Magic had to match that intensity, and they did at the defensive end, and then made enough happen offensively to bring it home.
And the Moncton Magic out at center court. Hey,
look, it's us.
Finally on camera. This is why we dress up, my friends. But the Moncton Magic, a nice moment there as they went to center court, saluting the fans as they always do, win or lose. But most of the players holding up 7 fingers.
7 fingers. It wasn't 8 for the Van Buren boys. Are we referencing Seinfeld again tonight? No, it was. They kicked the extra point tonight, Scott, and got to 7-0.
They will have a chance to go 8-0. But Dave, you know, we talked about last night with the Cape Breton Highlanders how fun it would be to watch Cape Breton and Moncton match up in the playoff series. How fun would it be to have these two teams match up and have these games going back and forth between the Avenir Center and the Mile 1 Center?
Whenever we watch one of these games, you get carried away. You get, look, I want to see. You just love these games so much.
I do.
Everyone ends with you going, can we see 6 more or 7 more of these?
True story. Well, this was a lot of fun. And look, we knew coming in that the St. John's Edge had been preparing all week long. The last game they played was against Moncton last Saturday. So you knew that they were going to be all week long working hard, breaking down film, studying how to beat this Moncton Magic team. And they almost had the formula worked out to a T, Dave. But again, as you said, the Moncton Magic, that almost might feel the Magic as a hashtag with the team this year. Find a way.
Just find a way to win. And it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. You got to find a way. You got to dig deep. There's going to be these points during the year where you're not playing pretty basketball 48 minutes of every single game, and they found a way to win tonight. And Scott, this does not count.
Well,
this does not count as kiss cam. Us up on the big screen.
I should say that I was standing up. I didn't want to make it look like I was 7 feet tall and you were 4 feet tall, so I decided to sit on the stool as well. But again, a very entertaining game. The lowest point total that the Moncton Magic have put up this year. But regardless of all that, said it last night against Cape Breton, what matters is the W, and they got another one, and they're 7-0, Dave.
Yeah, and in games like this, guys like our player of the game, Denzel Taylor, are going to be so key. And Billy White did a great job down low. And look, guys that didn't get their game off all that well tonight, they still did the job at that end of the floor. And it was guys like Nick Evans who didn't have a great game to follow. But look, he's 4 for 5 from the field, 9 points, and provided tough defense down low when they needed it. And they got enough stops to come out of here with a 7-0 record.
What a present for the fans as the Magic go 7-0, beating the St. John's Edge. And a nice birthday present for the birthday boy, Joe Salerno, as well. Final thoughts as we wrap up, Dave.
Well, look, can't do much better than win the 7 games to start the season. You beat the guys in front of you. You worry about take care of what you can take care of. But I think what this next week or so is going to be about for the Magic is let's get healthy. Let's get the bumps and bruises healed up, and look, that 11-0 start is in everybody's sights, and guys can say, hey, look, 1 game at a time, you know, it's a long season, but marks like that, milestones like that matter to guys like this. They want to, hey, look, I want to leave my mark in this league, and if we get off to the best start in league history, that's something. So these guys, I think they look at that as a goal to reach.
Well, the St. John's Edge fall to 1-4 on the season. A gritty effort from the Edge tonight, but not enough to take out the Moncton Magic, who run their record to 7-0. On behalf of our broadcast team and my broadcast partner, Dave Tingley, I'm Scott Squires. Thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, your final score, the Moncton Magic hang on and win this one 80-75. They are perfect on the season at 7-0. Until next time, my friends, enjoy your evening. Good night from the Avenir Center in Moncton.